Hello, everyone. So we are back for another masterclass. And in this masterclass, we are looking at understanding and working with the unique contributions of our team members and our role players. So I'm looking forward to discussing these things because I just love working with and understanding how we are all so unique. We all have our own unique superpowers. And that is what makes business tick or sometimes get in the way of doing business. So let's get into this. Of course, those of you that have been following me for a while and know about me, I do business optimization, tax advice and planning, trusts and estates. And for those of you that are not already doing so, you can check more of my articles on my blog, on my website, or you can follow me on LinkedIn. I've also got a podcast show with a lot of business feedback if you want to follow me there. So let's get into this today. Very exciting. What are we talking about? I'm going to discuss with you roles and role players. And that is where I am talking about also the teams. And then, of course, the unique contributions. And when we talk about the unique contributions, I will be introducing you to this wheel here. And this is what we refer to as the contribution compass. I have been working with this contribution compass for a while now. I love working with it because it just really helps us when we can understand not only our own unique contribution in business, but those that we work with and those around us. And when we need to build teams, when we understand what makes us tick and what makes those around us tick, it just becomes easier to communicate. It becomes easier to do business, and it becomes easier to maybe avoid miscommunication. So let's first understand this thing about roles and role players. What do I mean when I talk about the roles and the role players? Well, maybe as this image will portray, is I'm talking about really the who and the what. I'm talking about who does what, but it goes deeper than that. It goes also into why is it that people do what they do. So when we look at the who, we probably need to first understand all the whats. What is it that needs doing in our businesses? And then we understand who does that. And we so often get to this misunderstanding, if I can call it that, where we think it is only people in our employ or people who we are employed by, our bosses, that are the role players. But that's not really true. Role players are all those people that we come into contact with on a daily basis in our business. So the role players are not only the employees, the employers, but it is the client, it is the service provider, it is the people that we connect with on a daily basis. So if we, for instance, have an outsourced bookkeeper, if we have an outsourced IT person, if we have outsourced printer guys, our stationery suppliers, our contractors, these various role players, all in the end of the day, create a cohesive whole. And we need to understand what makes people tick in order to play well together. And often you'll understand that, you know, you've got that person that'll come into the office and you can just by looking at their face, you will know. Or you will know once a particular person gets busy and their mind is in their zone. They are busy with what they're doing. You know that you can speak to that person till you're blue in the face. The person may even look at you, but you know that nothing you are saying at that point is really going in. So you get to know certain of these things, but you don't actually understand where it's coming from. So this is where I want us to first understand that the roles we need to understand are those things that make our business tick. So what are all the things we need to look at? It's not just what happens inside the business, but also around our business, everything that impacts our business from within, from outside, but working inwards, and the things that we do inside our business working outwards that will also have an impact on our business. Those would be all the roles. Then we have all the people that fill those roles. They may be the employees, the employers, they may be clients, they may be service providers, they may be outsourced parties, they may be a once-off or a regular or a quarterly. And once you understand how these people fit into the business, you'll have a better understanding of what impact they have on the business. Because really, what is it that we're trying to understand here? We're trying to understand the impact the roles have and the role players have on our business. But we cannot actually understand the impact until we understand the who and the what and why they're doing it. And hopefully, at the end of this discussion, you will have a better understanding of why people behave in a certain way, why they do things in a certain way. And before I go further in this discussion, I want to remind you that, so often when we need to get more people in our business, we want to employ mini-me's, more of us. Why? Because it's easy to communicate with them, because it's easier for us to understand them. But so often, it's not what we need. We need the opposite of us. We don't need more of us. We need the opposite of us to make things work in our business. So these are the things that we also need to take into account is, do we put the right people where they belong? So often we employ the right person for the wrong position, or the wrong person for the right position, or even far worse, we take a person that is really good at what they do in their position where they are, and we promote them into incompetence. Now, what do I mean with that? Promoting people into incompetence means we take them from where they are really good, really performing, and we either put them in a position where we've removed them now from their zone of strength, their zone of genius, or we don't give them the tools, the training, and what they need to actually do this new job. An example, we may have a person that is superb in reception, just brilliant. Person's great. You get such great compliments on this person in your reception. Great on the switchboard, great at receiving clients, never forgets a client's name, wonderful person altogether, all-rounder. Eventually a position somewhere in client liaison in your business opens up, or maybe one of the senior management needs a PA, and everyone thinks it's a great idea to move the receptionist into this position. Why? Well, she's been in the company for many years. She's always been stable. She's reliable. Everyone loves her. And she's also decided that she would like a change of scenery. And everyone agrees, this is just fabulous. Let's do it. And within 3 months, the wheels come off. Why? Because all of a sudden, this person has been moved from where she was contributing her best. She loved the interaction with people coming through the door. She absolutely loved being the first person everyone saw when they came in the morning. She loved being the one everyone was saying goodbye to. She loved all that hub and movement and the clients being nice to her all the time. And all of a sudden, she's put in a position where she has limited interaction, perhaps, where she has maybe all of a sudden she's only dealing with, if she's been moved into a PA position, the stress all of a sudden is much more, because now it's not just the very short interactions with people as they come in the door, but now there is a serious follow through. Maybe follow through was never her thing. Short interaction was her thing. So you see what's happened is we've now taken her from where she was really good into a position where all of a sudden every day becomes a frustration for all parties working with her. Or we take our top salesperson, person that pulls bunnies out of hats and has the top figures. Sales manager leaves and some brainiac decides this is our next sales manager. And within week one, the wheels come off. Why? The sales guy that is the top performer likes the chase. He's out there, he's interacting, he's moving, he's running. He's not admin driven, he's not paper driven, he doesn't want to motivate other people, he does not want to chase other people for figures. He is the alpha dog that wants to perform. He does not want to be weighed down by responsibilities. And all of a sudden, he becomes your worst performer. So understand that we have our unique contributions. So let's move on. Hopefully now we've got this, the roles and the role players and where they fit in. And as I was talking, I also touched on these unique contributions. So this is again where we understand that everyone has their diverse and unique contributions, and we need all those parts to make a team. Think about this. Imagine taking your top sales guy who is always on the run, always chatting, always laughing, always joking, and you say to him, okay, you know what? You seem to be really great at this. We are now going to move you into a closed door office. So away from the people, we need you to now move into a quiet office space. And you're going to share an office with the accountant, because we're now out of office space and you need to share an office with the accountant. You're not going to do accounting work, but you need to share an office with the accountant. That's all. That's the only change you're making. Now, the accountant is the guy that wants to sit in a dark corner, concentrate, needs silence, needs to focus, doesn't want to talk. The most talking he does is in the morning when he comes through reception, greets the receptionist by way of nodding of head before he gets into his office and closes the door. And the next time someone sees him is probably tomorrow morning when he comes in, because he's the last one to leave. He's the guy that locks up at night 3 hours after everyone else has left. No one's seen him. He's this phantom person that they hear about and possibly see on their way when they bump into him from the kitchen. So do you understand that now you've got this person that is the sales guy, needs to talk, needs to chat, needs to move around, hyper person, and you want to go and put this person in an office with the accountant. And immediately, just by virtue of those different personalities, you will create strife. Now, the contribution the accountant is making is he needs to be refining. He needs to look at data. He needs to be quiet. He needs that concentration. The sales guy that wants to talk, and have the interaction and need the buzz, he needs that to work himself up to go forth and do what he needs to do. So again, understanding the unique contributions. Same goes for trying to put quiet, reserved people in open plan offices. So although they will tell you they can work in an office that is open plan because they want the job, When you put them in that space and they believe that they can work there, what happens is it impacts their ability to concentrate, their ability to do the work, because they may not be able to work there as much as they want to. Where other people that need interaction, that need communication, that need to speak to one another, will not do well in spaces where it is a no speak zone, where there is absolute silence in the offices. Again, so we need to look at, how do our people fit together? What is it that they bring to the party? People that where their unique contribution is to take care of, to deliver on your promise, to make sure that things happen as you promised it. If you keep making changes and you keep giving people like that a uncertain environment to work in, they will be like a cat on a hot tin roof. It will become very, very difficult for them in that space. Will they leave? Maybe not. Will they be absolutely miserable? Guaranteed. And that also does not make for a person that contributes their highest value in your organization. So let's get into that then. When we look at this contribution compass, the reason I wanted to speak about this specifically is because, like I say here, it helps us make sense of everyone's unique contribution. Often we gauge other people, we judge other people, we understand other people from our perspective, from our sense of being. We will speak to other people from our way of speaking, our way of listening, our way of understanding. So it's often very difficult for us to understand that people are different to us. Some people learn by listening, others learn by making notes, others learn by doing. So now if you, for instance, you're the manager, you're the boss, and you need to have a staff meeting. Now you've got someone that is vacantly staring off into a distance. One is tapping his leg the whole time. The other one is clicking a pen the whole time. Another one is doodling the whole time. So it's not even making notes, just drawing blocks or little figurines the whole time. And you're going and you're looking at these people going, these people are not listening to me. But that may not be so. The person staring off into the distance is the person that is auditory. The person actually needs to shut out everything else, because that person is listening intently, and that is how that person may be making sense of what it is you're saying. The people that are tapping and playing with pens and can't sit still, the fidgeters, those are the people that learn and listen and take in knowledge through doing. So the minute you have those people sit still, it is like you are tying down their arms and legs. And the minute you do that, they can't think, they can't take in. So unless they're doing, they can't take in knowledge. So it's impossible for them to listen to you. So as long as they can fidget, they're actually taking in knowledge. The people that are doodling, whether they're making notes or doodling or whatever it is they do, that is their way of thinking. I, for instance, if someone says to me, I need to discuss something with you, or can I ask you a question? The minute my brain realizes I need to think, I will say to someone, let me get my thinking device. My thinking device is any pen, pencil, anything I can make a note with. I must have a pen and I must have a piece of paper. Am I going to use it? Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. But it's almost like my brain cannot go over into thinking unless I've got my thinking device. I had a lady that worked for me, and whenever she came into my office, she would have to have a tissue. If she came into my office and I said, listen, let's talk this through quickly, she'd go, can I have a thinking device? And I'd have to give her a tissue. And all she wanted to do was fiddle with the tissue. She just wanted to play with it in her fingers the whole time, because that was her way. The minute she could do something with her fingers, that was her way of, she was now in her zone of where she could think, because she was cutting out all the other noise. So again, how simple is that when we can understand that we are in a group, in a meeting scenario, and we are trying to bring across something that is important to us. But the minute we can understand that, hold on, I can not only speak from my perspective, I need to actually speak to my audience. I'm addressing my audience. If I cannot get my message into the heart, the soul, the brain of my audience, have I really gotten my message across? And that is what's so important. So if you understand that the people in front of you have their way of listening, of taking in knowledge, doesn't that take the pressure off you? So as a business owner, does that not make it so much easier for you? And you would only know this if you knew who you were speaking to. And I'm not talking the person's name. I'm talking the essence of the person you are speaking to. If you understand the essence of that human or the humans in front of you, that will make it easier. You may have people in your business that are incredible contributors in whatever it is that they do, but they may struggle terribly with being shy and that they can't speak out in front of other people. So trying to get them to contribute verbally in a group setting is torturous for them. And it makes them feel like they want to die. And they will not be able to do so. And what will happen is they will contribute less and less from a physical contribution point, because they don't want to be called out to discuss their contributions in front of a group. Those are also the kind of people that you cannot give the proverbial pat on the head or pat on the shoulder in front of a group setting, because it's embarrassing for them. They hate that. Your sales guy, your people, oh, they want to have the admiration and the well dones in front of the group. They love it, but not everyone does. Not everyone wants to have their face on the wall with employee of the month. So it's important that you understand, how do we deal with the individuals? So keeping an eye on time as well. Yes. Okay. We are good to go. So when we look at the four main energies, now, where are these four main energies? Let's just go back. The four main energies are these big ones. So this contribution compass is split in four main energies. These are the big red, yellow, green, and blue here. So we've got activating, inspiring, sustaining, and refining. And then we've got the 8 profiles. So we first have the main energies, and then you've got the 8 profiles. And I will talk about that as we go along, but just so that you understand, when I start talking about these things, where did I see it? Okay, so the 4 main energies: activating, inspiring, sustaining, and refining. Now, if we look at this image, when I was looking at images for the slideshow, I saw this and I thought, isn't this just perfect? We look at this and it's exactly what we need. We need all 4 these energies as we saw it in that contribution compass. We needed all parts to make a whole. And it's the same here. We needed all parts to make a whole. And when you see how these fit together, you're going to also see how this fits together. Maybe not in the exact proportions. In other words, how many greens, how many blues, how many yellows, and how many reds. But I just liked this image. And at the end, I will tie it together for you. But when we look at the activating energy, we refer to these as the activators are the guys that they accelerate and they ignite change. Okay, so that's what they do. They just accelerate anything. They run a mile a minute. These are the idea people. They are innovators and groundbreakers. And in critical moments, they will always come up with new ideas, new solutions, and sometimes creating more problems than solutions. But they are the guys that when everything seems like there's just no way we're getting out of this, there's just no way that anything can work, these are the guys that will come up with yet another idea. Now, what we must understand with any profile, we get mature profiles and then we get immature profiles. So with activating energies, when we have the mature profiles, these are the people that will have all those inspiring ideas, that will come up with new things. These are the guys that will also start the businesses, and they are needed in businesses where we need new ideas, where we need to get things off the ground. But when they are immature in their profiles, what can happen is they can leave their teams exhausted, because they are changing things so often, so many ideas, that they just, it's almost like having people behind them sweeping up all the time. So it's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just understanding when you are in actual fact mature or immature in the profile, and how that would impact your business and your team. Now, having the business, sometimes how we also look at businesses, we would have an individual, we would have a team, and then we have a business. So you could have an activating person, you could have an activating team as an overall, your entire team, or you can have an activating type of business. Okay, so for instance, an activating type of business would have to be a business where you have to come up with new ideas the whole time. Advertising, yeah, so like advertising, branding, those kind of things would be, so it doesn't help you get a bunch of bean counters, a bunch of accountants to go and work in an activating firm. You may need one, but overall, you would need activating energies. You would need, however, for businesses to be successful, you generally need all four of them. It just may be more weighted in a certain energy for a particular business. Okay. So when you add more of the same, in other words, more activating, you may find, so what we're saying here is, if you have, like, I'm talking like the normal business now, I'm not talking a business where you specifically need only activating energy, but in your normal business where you would need all these energies, if you keep adding just activating energies, what you will find is you become so heavily weighted on activating energy that you keep getting new projects and new projects and new projects, but nothing ever comes to completion. And that's what one has to safeguard against. Okay, so that is the activating energy, the ideas energy, the change energy. Inspiring energy. Well, this is the energy that we say ignites the spark, or sparks, yeah, ignites the spark in others. These are the people that can rally the troops. They can get support from everyone. They can make sure we all want to be better. They are the guys that can, no matter how tired the team is, they will get everyone to, okay, let's just push through and get this one thing done, guys. If someone comes to you and says, when are we doing a team thing again? When are we getting the troops together again? When are we having Pizza Friday again? That's your inspiring guys. So these guys are really more concerned with the human. They want to make sure everyone's included, everyone's cared for, everyone's sorted. For them, it is super, super important that everyone's engaged, and that there's balance. Very important for the inspiring team. The sustaining energy. When we get to the sustaining energy, now these are the guys that will deliver on your promises. So they will bring your ideas to life, if I can call it that. And they will, so they like the, if I can call it, almost like rinse and repeat, the sameness of things. So where the activating guys will have all these ideas, the inspiring guys are going to go, okay, troops, we need to get everyone on the same page. Let's do this. The sustaining guys will go, okay, we can do this. We're going to do it this way. And they will make sure that everything runs, the cycles are running. If you've said something has to be delivered by that date, it will be delivered by that date. So they will make sure everything happens when it has to happen, how it has to happen. Your sustaining guys are the client service teams. And what you will often find is when you have companies where you have client complaints, delivery complaints, when it has to do not necessarily with quality, but with service, then you may have a lack in your sustaining energies. So you would need your sustaining energies checked there. And you see now how these teams are starting to fit in together. Because it doesn't help. We've got someone with bright ideas, someone that goes, okay, troops, come, let's get this done. And you don't have someone to deliver on the promise. These are your guys that often forms your backbone in your business. They are the guys that when they are mature in their profiles, that you only need to give them the instruction and you don't have to worry about it getting done. They have your back. They are the guys that will be there until it is done. So that is your sustaining energy. And then lastly, we get to the refining energy. Now, the refining energy, these are the guys that have the sharp eye for detail. Now, this is not to say that the other guys don't have eye for detail. It's just different types of detail. Activating energy will have an eye for detail in new ideas, where inspiring energies detail will be on people. And sustaining energies detail will be in how do we make things work. Refining energy detail is data. This is data, numbers. How can we optimize? It's very much about optimization, saving money, budgets, numbers. How do things fit in? Production line. It is, the refining energies and the inspiring energies are the direct opposites of one another. That's why I've got them here, opposite one another. And so they are more interested in data, where the inspiring energies are interested in the people. So inspiring energy will go, yes, but the people, and refining energy will go, but where's the money coming from? So activating will go, I have a plan. I have an idea. Inspiring will go, woohoo, rally the troops. We have a plan. Sustaining will go, okay, but when can we deliver? How can we deliver? Refining will come in and go, okay, guys, calm down, everyone. Where's the money? Where's the plan? How do we do this? Calm down, everyone. Can we have a plan? And when the refining energy is not mature in their profile, they can really pour very cold water on every plan. But when they mature in their profile, they can pull bunnies out of hats, because they can turn every 1 rand into 5 rands of value, because they know where to find value. They know how to optimize. They know how to do that whole economy of movement. These are the people that, because they can focus for so long and they can just really sit in a dark corner all the time and do their sums, you do get some of them that can human and that can have the activating energy, and some of them that can have the sustaining energy. So depending on where you overlap, you will have, and all of these energies overlap in certain instances, and you will see it when we get to the various profiles. It is important to understand that when you've got an activating energy, the ideas guy, if you get that ideas guy in the same room with a refining energy guy, there may be miscommunication, for sure, for sure. And even the inspiring guy and the refining guy, there may be. So often the refining guy and the sustaining guys, they get on relatively well. The inspiring guy and the activating guy may get on very, very well. The activating guy and the sustaining guy, not so much. Because the activating guy, he's got new ideas, new ideas, new ideas. Sustaining guy's going to go, okay, and by what do you mean we're going to have this done by Thursday? Thursday is like, it's 3 days away. This is 3 weeks worth of work. How can you promise three days? It's not possible. So you see, this is where we need to understand how to work with one another, the language we use, the way of doing things, what is our natural flow, what are critical moments for us. A critical moment refers to when things are not just flowing. What would be our go-to? What happens? What is a critical thing for us? It just happens naturally. We don't have to think about it. We do it without thinking. So that would be a sustaining person may like go within themselves and go, okay, how do we get this done? A refining person may go, okay, let me go to the data. An activating person will go, this is becoming boring. Let me get a new idea. Inspiring person will go, how's everyone feeling about this? So you see, that's natural flow. Okay. So now that we've spoken about the main energies, keeping an eye on time, I don't want to keep everyone longer. Let's look at the 8 contribution profiles. Now, remember, I just said that we overlap in certain of these main energies. Now, look, this is what I was talking about. When you look at a calibrator here, the calibrator has refining energy and activating energy. A champion has activating energy and inspiring energy. A connector has inspiring energy and sustaining energy. And a cultivator has refining energy and sustaining energy. So that is why I said, depending on where you fall on this contribution compass, you will naturally be able to do things. Now, what's very important to understand is if, for instance, you fall within a certain classification. So let's say you happen to be a conductor, a calibrator. So you fall more in this zone here. That does not mean you can't do any of these things. Not at all. You can do all of these things still. You can human, you can connect, you can come up with ideas. Doesn't mean you can't come up with ideas. What it does, however, mean is there's certain things you just do naturally. It just comes easy. You don't have to think about it. And when you do other things, you really have to consciously think about it. It takes much more energy, much more time. It is sometimes a bit of a struggle for you, and you will find your energy runs out quicker. You will find that you may feel more exhausted at the end of this period. So if you are naturally in the refining energies and you have to step into the inspiring energies, you may find that after a period of doing this, you need to go back to your dark corner to almost go and fill your cup again. Inspiring people that get their energy perhaps from being around people, caring for people. If they find that they've had to step into a quiet space, the refining energy, after a day of doing that, they may find that they need to be in their inspiring zone to fill their cup again. So it is important to understand that when you see yourself in one of these things, it doesn't mean that you can't be any of the others. It just means it takes a lot more energy for you to do that. And you can do it, but for shorter periods of time than others. So let's dive into these various energies. And I will be doing a whole podcast show on each and every one of these energies where you can get more information. But for now, I'm just touching on all of them. So what is a catalyst? Well, a catalyst is a change accelerator. So these guys naturally bring change. These boys here. They are dynamic, stimulating, driven, and inciting. So really the top of the idea guys. A champion is a trailblazer. So these are the people that will shake things up. So they shake up the status quo, and they stir people to really sit up and take notice of whatever message it is that they are running with. If they've got a message, provided they believe in that message, they have to believe in the message. They will spread that message far and wide, but they will spread it with such a passion and such a belief that everyone will hear them. Whether people will buy into that message will depend on, obviously, the person hearing the message, but you can't help but being swept along with their passion for their message. A coach, well, that is the true epitome of the inspiring energy. And when we talk about a coach here, we are thinking about that coach on the sports field more than a life coach or a mentor coach. So this is that kind of a coach. And this is the person that ignites greatness. So if you think about igniting the fire and the passion in others, to work as a team and to bring focus and just central ideas, bringing things to life. They bring warmth and energy and inspiration. So they are the warm, snuggly blanket for everyone. Our connectors, well, these are the guys that are the bridge builders. You know, I know a guy, that guy that when you go, listen, man, do you know someone that can fix a pool? And he goes, well, actually, you know, I know 3 or 4 guys. What is the problem with your pool? This is that person. They bring people and ideas and resources together like no one else. These were the guys in the olden days when we still had Rolodexes, for those of you that know Rolodexes, or those guys that, I don't know if you still remember the days where we had those little booklets with the business cards in it, where we kept all our business cards. These were the guys that would have had packs and packs of those books with the business cards. And not only did they have the business cards, man, they knew all those people, and they would know every business card that was in there and what the guys did. So they are superb at putting people and services together. And yeah, they're just really, really great at connecting ideas and people and services. Custodians, as we mentioned earlier, these are really our people that will honor our promise. They are the backbone, well, everyone here, but especially these people, the backbone of the back office team, if I can call it that. They have a natural ability to nurture and to support the ideas of others, to bring things to life. They are the mother hens of the business and for our clients, and they just naturally will protect and guard our assets, our clients. So that is our custodians. Our cultivators, well, these are the nurturing growth. So these people will guide and shape the growth of our teams, our projects, our enterprises, and they subtly influence and seek to adjust or refine, develop. So already here, our refining energy comes in. So not only can they work with, okay, this is what I've got, this is what I need for this business, but they bring in a refining energy as well. So if I think of the old engineers, the engineers of old, but those kind of engineers that worked for years on the same projects with the same teams. So they had that refining eye, but they worked for years and years with the same teams, word of mouth, and people always just wanted to work. They were the guys that for 20 and 30 years would be in the same companies doing the same things, but people just loved working with them. Those are the guys. Then we get to a conductor. Conductors are true performance optimizers. So these are the guys that they excel at making processes and functions run optimally, efficiency, and they normally have a natural affinity for analyzing data. I often call it, this is where I fit in, and I often call it, I see patterns in numbers and data. So for me, I see a number and a data, and I see the story. It tells me a story. Naturally, for me, I don't see the individual numbers. I see the story that it tells me. So that is, conductors find meaning and value in the numbers and the data, and they can almost translate numbers and data into English, into human, into language for others. And from that, you can have a much healthier picture of what is happening in your business. When you've got these people on your side, they will be able to pinpoint long in advance for you what are possible things for you to consider in your business, where things could be going wrong, where things are going well, where there's possibility for growth. So yes, conductors have a seriously refining eye. And then we get to calibrators. Calibrators are also very, very much refining, but now we're bringing in an activating energy. The great thing about a calibrator is they fine-tune instruments. That's what a calibrator does. So what a calibrator does here is they live in this relentless pursuit of continuous improvement. So they will constantly look at what is and how it can be better. How can we incrementally refine this? Doesn't have to be big changes. Slowly, slowly catch the monkey, as it says. So slowly, small incremental steps. How do we slowly, small changes at a time, improve things, make things better? So the calibrators excel at tinkering with how the system works. They can experiment. They can experiment all day long and find that just that sweet spot of how to get something to absolute optimal performance. So often also very good on the engineering side as well. So that is how all these different profiles fit together. Now, hopefully from this, you can see how in a business, we really can use all of these various profiles. But if we don't even know where we fit in, how do we know what we need in our business, what is lacking, what is missing? And if we understand ourselves better, can you imagine how we can use that to optimize our business? So what's next? Well, I will have available for you, if you click on the link in the video below, the block below, there will be a download for a free ebook on the contribution compass, where you can learn more. Oh, sorry about that. So you can get the download for the free contribution compass there. Also, I invite you to get in touch with me, to do your own contribution compass profile, and you can learn more about your own profile. I do individual profiles. I do team profiles as well. And often it is important, especially if you've got a bigger team. Sometimes it's nice to start with the management team, because it does help us to communicate better, manage the business better, and it's often much easier to reallocate resources, tasks, teams when we know what we are working with. And then listen out for my podcast series on the Contribution Compass. I will be launching that Contribution Compass series probably in May. I am working on it at the moment, so hopefully by May that will be live. And but my podcast show is live. It is Business Brainwaves. So if you just search Business Brainwaves podcast, Business Brainwaves with Renata Jute, it's on Apple, it is on Spotify, and yes, it is also on, I can't remember the other one. But yes, or you can just go, and if you need to, you can email me on info@Noble Group if you want to get more information. So as always, very nice to spend time with you. Thank you for your time. I love sharing these bits of information with you. I really hope that what you learn in these videos optimizes your business. The purpose, after all, is for you to do better business, for me to get to share my knowledge of running businesses over these last number of years. And, you know, if we can do business better, it's us and our businesses better. So thank you as always.